Bluey has a huge cast full of dogs of every kind. Pom Pom is right in the middle of it all, rarely getting any real attention. But did you know this little pup's life actually has a pretty sad side? One of the main reasons for that is because Pom Pom is tiny. All the characters in Bluey are different from one another since they're all based on different dog breeds. Pom Pom is a teacup dog, meaning she's even smaller than other dogs of her own breed, and honestly, smaller than everyone else. She's basically a little puffball of fur and struggles to do simple things that any of her friends could easily do, like hanging from a bar or climbing up something. That makes Pom Pom feel kind of sad sometimes, since she needs adults' help even in the simplest moments. Just imagine having to live in a world where everyone else is way bigger than you. A world where nothing was made for someone your size. That's Pom Pom's life. It's not something she chose, she was born this way, and now she just has to live with it. And that's only the beginning, because we're about to tell you the hidden truth you didn't know about Pom Pom. That's right, another Cinewave is coming for you to enjoy. Pom Pom's dad. Pom Pom is often seen walking around with her mom, and it's pretty easy to tell they're related. But what about her dad? That's where the story changes, because he's never shown up in the show. Of course, a lot of fans noticed that and thought it was strange, leading to theories that Pom Pom's mom might be divorced. At least we know her dad didn't pass away or anything like that, because he actually appeared as a background character in one of Bluey's books. What's interesting is that he showed up right next to Pom Pom's mom. So are they still together? Or are they divorced but managed to stay good friends for their daughter's sake? The second option seems pretty likely, since the guy is seen looking at another woman. Either way, it's odd that he hasn't appeared in the show. Even if Pom Pom's dad is still married to her mom, he seems to be very absent when it comes to his daughter. Maybe he's the type of dad who works a lot to support the family, but ends up losing precious time with them because of it. Pom Pom already has a tough time because of her size, and as if that wasn't enough, it seems like she doesn't get much affection from her dad either. How do you think that makes her feel? Blue butterfly. We actually have a reason to believe the answer is sad. Pom Pom feels sad, and surprisingly, that reason is a little blue butterfly painted on her face in the credits of the episode Curry Quest. Yes, really. It might sound like a stretch, but blue butterflies usually carry powerful symbolism, especially in Bluey, where the butterfly Flappy played a huge role in the story of the episode The Sign. If a blue butterfly was important once, there's zero reason to think the one painted on Pom Pom's face doesn't mean something too. After all, the struggles she goes through fit perfectly with one of the main meanings behind that symbol: hidden sadness. Butterflies are beautiful, but blue isn't always a happy color. In English, the word blue can mean both the color and the feeling of sadness. So that little butterfly on Pom Pom's face could represent beauty hiding pain, just like a tiny pup hiding her feelings behind her cuteness. If you'd also love to see Pom Pom's sadness explored more deeply in Bluey, drop a comment below with #cuteness, because she's just too adorable. Fragile. There are very few people who can truly understand what Pom Pom goes through, and one of them, surprisingly, is Bingo, Bluey's little sister. That's because there was a time when Bandit played with both of his daughters without realizing that Bingo was much younger and more fragile than Bluey. His rough play, which made the blue pup laugh non-stop, actually left Bingo upset to the point of crying. Things only changed after she explained how she felt to her dad, who apologized and promised to be more careful from then on. Bingo went through this kind of thing a few times, but that's exactly the kind of challenge Pom Pom has to deal with every single day. Be honest, can you even imagine that? If you can picture yourself in Bingo's place during that episode, just imagine that kind of thing happening to you all the time. If Bandit ever played with Pom Pom the same way he did with his daughters in that episode, she'd probably pop like a balloon or something. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, But seriously, the little pup could easily get hurt in that kind of play. The more we think about it, the sadder Pom Pom's life seems. Health problems. Being small and fragile is already tough, but it's even worse when fragile doesn't just mean physically weak. Pom Pom might also be fragile health-wise, all because of her breed. She's a Pomeranian, and that breed is known for having a higher risk of hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, especially when they're puppies. And what is Pom Pom? That's right, a puppy! They can also suffer from dental problems. Because their jaws are so small, their teeth grow very close together, causing plaque buildup, gum disease, and other issues. Another serious concern is that dogs of this breed have weaker bones, which means they're much more likely to get injured. And it gets even worse when we remember that Pom Pom isn't just a regular Pomeranian, she's a teacup dog. Being much smaller than average, her health is even more delicate, with a greater risk of heart problems. Her lifespan could also be shorter, which is honestly really sad. When will the show ever address all these complications Pom Pom might face in the future? WAR. The world of Bluey seems peaceful nowadays, but there are hints that it wasn't always that way. Theoretically, there was once a time when dogs and cats were at war, at least according to some ancient artwork that appears during one of Bandit's lectures. And remember, he's an archaeologist, someone who studies the past through fossils. You really don't want to doubt Bluey's dad. Meanwhile, we have Pom Pom, a little girl of modern times, who's about the size of a soccer ball and about as strong as, well, a soccer ball. If she had lived back then, she probably wouldn't have survived. Even in today's peaceful society, she already faces enough daily challenges. It's kind of scary to imagine what she would go through if she ever lived during a war. Let's just hope Australia never ends up in another one, right? Subscribing is quick, easy, and keeps you updated with everything happening here. Let's go? Danger. One of the saddest things about all this is that many of the fun activities most people can enjoy just aren't options for Pom Pom, because her tiny size and fragility get in the way even of that. Just think about what would happen if she went on a roller coaster. Do you really think that little pup could stay in the seat? Nothing could hold a dog that small in place, and she'd probably go flying. Fun for some, tragedy for Pom Pom. The same could be said for a lot of other amusement park rides. Bumper cars? The seatbelt wouldn't even be able to hold her in the car, and any small crash would make her, well, you know, go flying again. Target shooting? Those short little arms wouldn't even be able to reach the targets properly. So if it depended on Pom Pom's aim, she'd never win a stuffed animal as a prize. Especially because to win one, she'd actually have to win the game. And that would be almost impossible. The worst part of all this is that Pom Pom already knows she can't take part in that kind of play. She probably feels super paranoid about it too, constantly avoiding anything even slightly risky because she knows she could get hurt. Seesaw. But luckily, not everything is sad for Pom Pom. The episode Seesaw shines a special spotlight on her character. In it, a bunch of kids are trying to lift one side of a seesaw that Bandit is sitting on. Since he's an adult and pretty heavy, it's a real challenge for the group of kids. Unlike the others, Pom Pom didn't want to join in because she thought she wouldn't make any difference. After all, she's really small, as we've mentioned more than once in this video, and her weight seems totally irrelevant. But that's where she was wrong. In the end, when she climbs onto the seesaw last, her incredibly tiny body ends up being the final push that helps the kids' combined weight lift Bandit. It delivers an amazing message, both for Pom Pom and for all the kids watching Bluey. The lesson that everyone matters and can make a difference, even those who might seem insignificant. It would be awesome to see more episodes like this one focused on Pom Pom in future seasons of Bluey, since she's such a great character to explore these kinds of themes. Unfair life. Now, one episode that wasn't so nice for Pom Pom, at least at first, is Pass the Parcel, where the kids play a game of passing a package around while music plays. When the music stops, whoever's holding the package gets to open it and receive a gift. Pom Pom got lucky at the start of that episode, winning a prize, and right after that, the package landed on her again when the music stopped. She should have received another prize, but Pat didn't let her, simply because he had paused the music by accident at that moment, and he wanted another kid to get a chance instead. The next time they played the game, things got worse. That's because Pat decided to make it the old-fashioned version of the game, where there's only one prize hidden in the very last layer of wrapping. That means anyone who got the package before the end wouldn't get anything, and only one kid would win in the end. Pom Pom really suffered from that, even more than her friends. If it were any other kid, it might be understandable, but she already knows that life isn't fair because of how she was born, and one of the few moments where she actually had the same chance to win something as the other kids was during that game. None of the kids were told beforehand that the rules had changed, so everyone's disappointment made total sense. Thankfully, they ended up enjoying this version of the game by the end, but honestly, it would have been understandable if they never did. Before you go, take a look at the 2 videos on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!